In this interview with Say, she shares her advice for new female creators, how to get a lot done when life gets busy, and what language to decide on when you're a bilingual influencer coming up.
The YouTube Secrets audiobook is out now. Learn the latest strategies of today's top video influencers in this step-by-step YouTube success playbook. Download it now at tubesecretsaudio.com.
What's up, influencers? Welcome to another interview here on Video Influencers, where we're helping build your influence, income, impact with online videos. I have Say Tioco.
Yay.
Thank you so much, Say, for being on here. And we've got a beauty YouTuber, lifestyle vlogger, and businesswoman. I know that she's a little shy about that, but don't get me wrong, she is a businesswoman. She's been working YouTube for over almost a decade now, right?
Yeah.
Your first upload being 2010?
Yes.
Right? So, couple things. I'm sure these are numbers you're familiar with, but you don't talk about it because you're so humble. 240,000 subscribers, 50 million views. Did you know that?
No.
50 million, Say? Isn't that crazy? 2,300 uploads to YouTube. And I think the thing that I'm so honored to be interviewing you today about, you're one of the first Filipino influencers, specifically female beauty people in this country. So when you hear those numbers, what do you think?
I'm just shy about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how to react.
Yeah. And when you first started YouTube, did you ever think that you would be doing this? Because one of your first videos, similar to what my wife did, was just all beauty, right? When you first got your start, what was that like? What was like kind of the motivation?
Michelle Phan.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I just wanted to create makeup tutorials back in the day.
Yeah, almost a decade later, you're doing so much more. You're mega successful. You've worked with tons of brands, and I know you've got a lot of experience. You know, one of the first questions I like to ask YouTubers is, if you were to start over today, and you've had your challenges, you've made mistakes, you've had your successes, and you've had your wins, how would you start all over, and what would be your 3 things you would focus on if you started YouTube again today?
If I were to start over today,
Yes.
I would definitely diversify.
Yes.
Because back in the day, I was super opposed to the idea of having more than one channel, because I wanted to like give all my energy to this one channel and nurture it like a baby, right? And I just wanted to, I would create 2 or 3 more channels, because I think that segregating the videos is really important, because my channel is like a whole mix of different videos, like vlogs, travel, beauty, so it's a mix of everything. 9 years later, I think this one channel that I nurtured for 9 years, it really changed my life. But on the business side of things, imagine what would 3 more videos could have done.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting you mentioned that, because we do advise to people focus on one channel, and I think that's important because, you know, especially if you've got a full-time job. Now, you're just like a straight-up hustler. You work harder than almost any YouTuber I know, right? So you could easily sustain multiple channels, but I can tell you, even in our world, we're very glad that we started multiple channels. Anything else you would do differently than from what you did in the beginning?
I think I would just go independent.
Oh.
Off the bat.
What you're mentioning is don't join an MCN, right?
Yeah.
When she says go independent, it's not sign on, because, you know, one of the things when signing on, they'll ask for percentage of your AdSense, they'll ask about all these different things, and there's no guarantee that they're even going to give you opportunities.
Exactly. Because I think there are pros and cons in joining like MCNs, but if the cons outweigh the pros, you have to start. I mean, I didn't start thinking about it until I was like into deep, like 3 years already. I'm like, nothing's happening, so why am I here?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that not just with MCNs too, it's like with any manager or agency, like really question, you're doing all the work to create this content. You're uploading it. You're the one that engages people online. You're the one that puts yourself out there. It has all the risk.
Yeah.
Does this other entity deserve a piece of the pie? Do you know that term?
Yeah.
Piece of the pie, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's good. Anything else you would add?
Well, I've been doing this for 9 years now, but consistency is number 1. It's one of the pillars of having a successful YouTube channel. So being consistent, is still my number one.
That'll never change, I think, for really any business, but specifically with YouTube for sure. And you know, the algorithm, they love consistency. They love lots of videos. So that's awesome. So let's take it back to 2010, okay? Did you have experience when you first started, right? Editing, creating videos, anything with like social media? And what has your rise been like? What were like some of the takeaways from the last almost decade of doing this?
I didn't know anything about cameras, about editing, about anything, lighting.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about that. So what helped me was watching other YouTube videos.
There you go.
And then learning, Googling, like, oh, what is the 3-point lighting system?
Yep.
I used to use just like daylight and
Yes.
shoe boxes for the tripod, like, you know.
Judy too.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So I love that. How simple that is, but how effective and helpful. Let's dive in a little bit farther then. Like you went a few years of figuring it out, uploading, and you had this gradual momentum. Tell us about when you started working with brands and that experience, if you had experience working with brands at all.
I think I signed my very first shampoo brand,
Yeah.
shampoo and conditioner
Yeah.
brand, back in the early years.
Yeah.
It was just so exciting for
Yeah.
me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my first big brand.
Yeah.
And like, oh my god. And I was in my 25 square foot
Yeah.
apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just filmed everything there. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, it's just so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think your work ethic
Yeah.
speaks a lot.
Yes.
And once you just show the brands that who you are as a
Yeah.
person and your credibility, they're just gonna keep coming.
Oh, for sure. You always want to be thinking of other, when you talk about diversification, we talk about that in income too. You want different opportunities.
Yeah.
But if you really work hard to create content that people want to watch and you're getting subscribers like you have, right? And you're getting views, brands will find you. This is a note for everybody watching. The brands need you more than you need them. You think that you want those opportunities and getting sponsored, which of course is part of the business. But just remember, at the end of the day, without your videos, they don't have a way to reach their customers.
Yeah, they need us more than we need them. I think that's very true.
Yeah.
I think once you just stand your ground,
Yeah.
it's just gonna create like
A standard,
a
right?
standard.
Yes.
Yeah. And then when other brands, of course, brands talk to each
Yes,
other,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they're gonna say, oh, this person.
They're going to basically share information to leverage their position so that they can negotiate the most beneficial term for them. That was a long answer, but you get what I'm saying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yep. Say, we're here in Manila, Philippines, by the way, right? We met Say years and years ago here when we had a couple different events. And we've been so privileged to be friends with you and see your rise to greatness, right? You've always been great, but now you're just so successful. One of the biggest questions you had, not just for us, but just generally, even to this day, right, is about the language. So you have an audience that speaks obviously English because English is a huge language, not just here, but all over the world, but Tagalog, right? And there's another language called Taglish, which I believe a lot of countries out there with different languages also have like that mixture.
Yeah.
What has been your stance on making the decision to speak? Now you're doing Taglish, right? And what advice you would have for other people that are also trying to make that decision in their own language?
When I first started out, I tried doing a whole Tagalog video,
Yeah.
like a makeup Tagalog videos.
Yes.
It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
Put this and put that. So I tried that. It did really well.
Yes.
It did really well. But the thing is, it's not my personality to speak straight Tagalog
Yeah.
for my videos. And when I work with other brands, they actually prefer English.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but good thing that YouTube now has like the translation. Most definitely use that.
Yeah. And so I like what you mentioned though. It literally spoke to your personality, speaking English, and you used Tagalog, right?
Yeah.
Which is Taglish. So one of the reasons why I want to ask you about this is because don't discount your niche audience in
Yeah.
your country. It's huge. I know a lot of creators aspire to the American opportunities or brands and obviously speaking English. But remember, there's literally billions that are waiting for your content. And if you speak a language that there's not enough content around that language, then you have an opportunity that I can't literally speak to, right? Say even can't speak to all these other languages that you might be able to. So it's your advantage to speak that language because also you think like them too, right?
Yeah.
And brands market differently in different market areas. So if you can like connect with those, that's the most important thing. But at the end of the day, personality, right? What's your natural personality?
It's Taglish.
There you go.
Or English, and then a little bit of Tagalog, which is Taglish.
Bit. You should watch. And we'll put some links to all the Say's videos. This is probably the biggest question for you, Say, okay? Because the thing I've been most impressed about when it comes to you and what you do is not just how hard you work, but how much success you've been able to have for yourself and sustain it for almost a decade now. How do you balance everything that you do and still excel at working with brands, creating content, traveling, right? All in, the same amount of time that anybody else has.
I do planning.
There you go.
I plan every start of the month, and I just have a calendar in front of me and see what events are going to happen. Yeah. Am I going to travel this month?
Yeah.
What videos I want to put up? What videos I'm working with brands?
Yeah.
So it's all about planning.
Yeah.
For me, it's all about, I'm not like the phone type of girl.
Yeah,
I jot everything. Look at this.
There you
my
go.
notepad and my pen. So I just really want to write everything down. Back in the day, I used to film 8 videos in one day and then edit at night. But now, since with age and other things, I usually just film in a day like 4 videos or
batch
3.
Produce, right?
And then I edit at night, and then I schedule everything.
There you go.
Schedule the uploads.
So there you go. You just heard it from a pro. That the simple, even handwritten plan works. And I love how you mentioned it wasn't just like a plan in a day or week, like a whole month, right?
Yeah.
Because one thing I like to do is have a calendar that shows the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Because if there's something coming up 2 months from now, you might need to start preparing now for it versus it creeps up. And why planning is important isn't just so that you can plan and make sure you're ready for something coming up. You don't want something unexpected to like come up on you out of nowhere and then mess up everything else that you're currently working on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your day. You kind of dived into it. What does your average day look like?
Well, I wake up in the morning.
Yep.
I feed my dog.
Okay, yep. Cute dog.
Caillou.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feed my dog, and then I just sit on my table, do my makeup.
Yep.
If it's a filming day, I film.
Yep.
And then perhaps there's an event in the noontime or afternoon,
Yep.
and then meetings, and then I go home, I edit, I watch Netflix, and then I sleep.
There you go. And so for you, you're just constantly doing that, right? It's almost become a habit.
Yeah.
And how much would you attribute your success to that habit versus like having a viral video, right? Or having views, right? That habit and the structure and the planning versus just like having the right idea. You get what I'm saying? A viral video.
I think the habit is more, it's better, I think.
Yeah.
Because, so as opposed to like, thinking about what viral video, like I think from Mikey Bustos that there's no formula for a viral video. So I think just, having that habit of like every day doing the same thing over and then I think that's better.
Yeah, of course. And literally that consistency creates content, right? And at the end of the day, and we're even talking about this with your videos, you just never know what's going to hit.
Yeah.
So Say is traveling a lot now, and I mentioned to you how your first time in this place, right, in this country, or first time at this resort have been doing really well.
Yeah.
Like there's no rhyme or reason to it because it's not like those are the only travel videos, right? You have other travel videos. And so when you consistently upload, and you have a lot of videos that throw up onto YouTube, YouTube kind of helps you understand what videos connect with your audience. So that habit of creating content, rather than, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. Most people, they focus on networking and the next viral video or jumping on the challenge. And they forget that, if you've got your unique personality, throwing out content, even if it doesn't get you 1 million views every single upload, is what's going to get you to videos that get you 1 million views eventually, right? Yeah. So we already know you're awesome. You work really hard. You've had a lot of success, and you've had all this momentum. But let's talk about burnout, because it's such a hot topic on YouTube. How have you been able to balance everything, work hard, have results, but avoid burnout? Or have you had burnout, and how have you dealt with it?
Totally. And like, for me, I think there's two types of burnout. It's like the regular burnout and the life burnout, as I call it. So regular is like when you just work hard every day, non-stop hustle, and then you feel like, oh my gosh, what's happening? You've lost your mojo, as I like to call it. So whenever that happens, I just like to take a step back. I go on vacation. I do a bubble bath or something. I just like recenter or how do you call it? Realign. You know,
refocus.
my thoughts. And there's another thing, the life burnout. That's the things that you don't really know that's coming, like the death of my father, like the heavier stuff. And that, I think, the viewers have more understanding on why you have to stop for a while. And there's no more explanation for that. That's it.
There you go. And there's life after that. You know, like, don't fear the gaps or the breaks. You know, we're fortunate because we haven't had a lot of breaks, but we also have created enough bandwidth for Judy specifically, right? But you got to give your brain a rest. It's like a car. Like, cars are gonna overheat eventually if it just kept driving, like thousands and thousands. You can't just keep filling up with gas and it's just gonna keep going. One day it's gonna crap out and you're gonna have to switch out the engine and take a little bit of a break. There's a female watching this on their phone, maybe young, when like you started 17, 18 years old, right? Or maybe 27, 28. Are you 27 still?
Yes, 27.
Okay. Watching this, and they're gonna upload their first video, or maybe they've gotten started and they're kind of losing hope. What would you tell somebody that's watching this for the first time because they look up to you?
Ang masasabi ko lang, 9 years ago, I was, okay, nag-English bigla. Nasa kitchen ako, sinabi ko kay mama, sabi ko, ma, one day, magkakasweldo rin ako parang si Michelle Fan. Sinabi ko talaga yun 9 years ago. And then, eto na tayo, 9 years later. So, whatever you do lang, I think, wag niyong isipin na, ay, kailangan ko maging ganito ka, dami views kay ganito, kay ganyan. Basta, don't compare yourself to others talaga. Kasi, if you're passionate enough na alam mo talaga na gusto mo ng channel, gusto mo gumawa ng videos, if you have that passion, gagana siya, girl. So, kailangan lang talaga magtiwala ka sa sarili mo. Talagang tinagalog ko lahat. Magtiwala ka sa sarili mo, and then everything's just gonna fall into place if you have that passion in you, that drive in you.
I feel like I don't know any Tagalog, but I understand what you said.
Really?
Right? From the few English words and your passion. So, for those of you that don't speak Tagalog, we're definitely going to put some subtitles there for you, or if not, YouTube will probably put that up there. Thank you so much, Say, for being on here.
Thank you.
We don't have enough female creators on this channel to get interviewed, so it was an honor. And we're going to put all of Say's links down below. Make sure you guys subscribe for more videos just like this, as well as interviews with people like Say who are crushing it on YouTube. As always, we're helping build your influence, income, and impact with online videos. Talk to you later.
Bye.